A video format consists of 6 different things: the codec, or the compression that it uses, the color space, or how it represents colors, color sampling, whether it's 444, 422, 420, or 411, frame size, which we all know and love, frame rate, which we also understand, and whether it's progressive or interlaced. And I am delighted to report that interlacing is gradually and blessedly disappearing. Progressive is so much better at every possible level. Color space determines how many colors a specific video format can display. HD, when it's running under standard dynamic range video, uses Rec. 709. Older SD video, the video that some of us who are old enough to remember grew up on, uses Rec. 601. HDR video uses Rec. 2020, which defines displays, or Rec. 2100, which defines the entire HDR spec. Most stills use sRGB. There's no perfect color space. There are simply a wide variety of them. If you look at the graph on the right, it's called a chromaticity graph, and that triangle with rounded edges represents all the colors that can be seen by the human eye. That triangle in the middle are the colors which are defined by Rec. 709. It skews toward purples, reds, and oranges, in other words, where flesh tones sit. But it shortchanges greens and blues. This is one of the changes that HDR seeks to make, expanding into that upper left range to give us more greens and blues as part of the HDR spec. Chroma subsampling, also called color subsampling, determines the number of pixels it takes to represent a single color value. When we're looking at 444, 1 pixel equals 1 color value. 422 takes 2 pixels for a color value, and 420 takes 4 pixels for a color value. If we look at the graphic on the right, at the top, notice that under 444 chroma subsampling, there's 1 red, 1 green, and 1 blue value per pixel. This is the most accurate that it gets. If we look at 422, it takes 2 pixels. Both pixels have a gray value. That's the Y value, or the green value. But they share a red value and they share a blue value. So in order for us to have a complete color, we have to combine values of 2 pixels. As we go down to 420, it takes 4 pixels to equal 1 color value. 1 red is shared across 4 pixels. 1 blue is shared across 4 pixels, but all 4 pixels have individual grayscale values. That was back in the old days. We would say, focus on the grayscale, because we were looking at pixels where each pixel had a grayscale value, but each pixel does not have a complete color value. 444 is much more color accurate than 420, and most cameras shoot 422 or 420. Another term that's relevant to the work that we do is bit depth. This determines the number of colors per color channel. How many colors, how many shades of red, how many shades of green, how many shades of blue. 8-bit color is 2 to the 8th power, or 256 shades of each color. 10-bit is 1,024 shades. 12-bit, 4,096 shades. The higher the bit depth, the more colors, the smoother gradients, and the more accurate the color grading. Let's go to 8-bit color. There are always 256 shades of every channel. Even if it's a single color in the frame, there's still all 256 steps available. That's what the top of that graphic represents. Notice how chunky this illustration represents 8-bit color as. When we go to 10-bit color, it's still chunky, but the chunks are smaller, and because there's more steps, there's a much more gradual shading from one step to the next. Ideally, 10-bit color is better than 8 because you've got more shades to work with. Think of 8-bit color as a bucket. Think of 10-bit color as a bathtub. Because I've only got 256 shades, there's a very limited number of shades that fit inside that bucket. If I grab the bucket and pour it into the bathtub, transcoding from 8-bit to 10-bit opens up the amount of space that I have to work with. I don't have more colors. I still have the original 8-bit, but they're living inside a 10-bit space, which means that when I process them, add gradients, do color grading, rather than having to work in only 256 increments, I get to work with 1,024. There's much more space to spread out, much more smooth gradients and gradual color changes in 10-bit. Now, when it comes time for final distribution, yes, I'll output a 10-bit form, but I will also take that bathtub and pour it back into the 8-bit bucket. Well, during that color grading process and all the other effects work that I do, that bathtub is slowly filled up. When I pour it back in the bucket, it doesn't all fit. Some of the water spills over the edges. I lose some of the color information. But because all of my color mixing is done, that which goes back into the bucket is much higher quality than when it came out. So although our cameras can shoot 8-bit, it makes a whole lot more sense for us to edit in 10-bit. So which do we pick? Chroma key, gradients, and color grading benefit from higher bit depth and greater chroma subsampling. All ProRes formats are 10-bit. All are 4:2 except for ProRes 4x4, which is a 4:4:4 color, so chroma subsampling. Most log and RAW formats are 10-bit or greater. RAW is a special case because it really isn't video, it's a data channel, and we have to convert the data into video as part of the conversion from RAW into whatever we're going to edit. iPhone 12s and later shoot 10-bit HEVC, but they use a 4:2:0 color sampling. So it's good that it's 10-bit, but we're still losing color because Apple needs to keep the file sizes on iPhones as small as possible and still retain good image quality. AVC HD, XTCam, XTCam EX, H.264, and most HEVC that are recorded in the camera, like a GoPro, are 8-bit and generally use 4:2:0 chroma subsampling. So again, if your job is to have high-quality chroma key, or you're doing a lot of really detailed color grading, working with 4:2 or better, working at 10-bit or better, will make your video look a lot better. This was an excerpt of a recent Power Up webinar looking at power tools inside Apple Final Cut Pro. For the complete version of this online training, please visit our store at larryjordan.com/store and look for Webinar 385. By the way, when you need to stretch your training dollars, membership in our video training library saves you money and time. You can access all our videos for a low monthly price of only $19.99. That's almost 2,000 movies, hundreds of hours on a wide variety of subjects. Plus, premium members can download practice media and projects. Our training covers a wide variety of software, and we update it multiple times each month. For more information, visit larryjordan.com/membership. And thanks.